So I did not bring y'all along for trying to figure out the wiring that was previously done by Natty Light Automotive, because I honestly expected I was going to have to put a new wiring harness in this thing to even get it to run. I was able to straighten out the mess, figure out what had been cut, and put stuff back together to get this thing to run. But I'm going to start it right now, and I've got the camera set up so you can see me, but you can also see what's going on behind this thing. And we're going to do a compression check on it here in a minute, but I wanted you to see it run first to see why we're going to do a compression check on it. Oh, come on. And we will be replacing the flywheel ring gear at some point. So there's a little bit of smoke on startup, obviously, which usually indicates that you've got bad valve stem seals. But this thing starts out, it's got about 22 pounds of oil pressure. After it warms up, it's got about 2 pounds of oil pressure. I'm thinking that bearings are gone, rings are gone, and it needs a total rebuild. We're going to do a compression check on it to verify that, but I wanted to see what it what it looks like in its mosquito fogging state before we do the compression check. All right, I'm going to disconnect the coil so I can do these one plug at a time and just crank it over with the remote. And you heard the miss. I suspect the ignition on this thing's pretty jacked. That plug's a little chunky, but it's where it looks like it's burning, it's actually pretty good. The registration sticker on this indicates the last time it was licensed was 2014. So I don't know how long it's actually been sitting. Okay. That cylinder has not been firing. So I'm guessing it's probably a bad plug, which would explain our miss. 135642, I think, is the firing order. Sorry, it's 153624. So we got 1, 5, 3, 6, 2, 4. So that's correct. So I'm guessing that plug's bad. That one's pretty carboned up. Yeah, these plugs are trash. That's one of the best looking plugs yet. 1 and 6 look better than the rest of them. All right, I'm gonna do a compression test on this thing. I pulled the plugs out, and the plugs, since I got it running, this one's starting to turn a little tan. This one isn't firing, and these 3 are starting to turn a little tan. So this one could be a bad plug, could be a bad plug wire. I don't know. I haven't gotten that far yet. It needs a tune-up for sure, because there's paint that matches the block on all of the spark plug wires, which tells me that they've been in there since that I'm suspecting motor was rebuilt, or at least got a spray can rebuild. So what we're going to do is, according to the technical service manual, you do compression test on each cylinder 3 times. So we'll do it, get a reading, write it down, release it, do it, get a reading, write it down, until we got 3 times. And then they say to take the highest reading from each cylinder. I went ahead and warmed this thing up off camera to give us a more accurate reading, and we'll see what it does. And what you want to do is have your choke open, your throttle open. I've disconnected the coil so we don't get any crazy sparking from these plug wires that are hanging loose. And most of the stuff that I've seen done, you just pull one plug at a time. But I talked to my dad, who builds hot rods, and he said pull all the plugs, because it takes a load off the starter and it lets it get up to speed without as much resistance, and you're checking one cylinder at a time. And we'll see if the natural stopping point on this thing is the bad spot on the flywheel again. Choke's open. I'm gonna hold the throttle wide open, and here we go.
I don't know what the marks mean. I gotta fly in.
132.
Okay. So the little bubble is the mark, and then two. Okay. Looks like it's about the same place. 135 maybe.
No, that's about 133, 134.
Okay. Back down to about 132 maybe.
Yeah.
Where's it supposed to be?
In that range, 120 to 140.
So is this spark plug number 2, or does it go
Cylinder
all
number 2.
cylinder number 2? Okay. It's about 140, isn't it?
No, that's about 160.
I mean 60. Yeah.
See, that's the one that hadn't been firing, so it's probably full of oil.
And that one has a little bit of a smell to it. Does that make a difference, or am I just now smelling gas?
You're just now smelling gas, old gas. 160. That's 165. 135. And I think since I didn't plug off the fuel, we may be getting some cylinder washing. 135. 156. Like the battery may be getting weak. 153. 154. 155.
just keep every time.
$145. $144. Quick. $155. $155. And $155. Okay, so now we're going to squirt a little bit of oil in 1 and 3 and see if they come up. Because our highest is 165.
Is there such a thing as too high?
No, yeah, I know.
Okay.
So if you stick with 10%, the lowest we should expect to see 10% variance off of the highest number is 148.5. I think that 165 may be a little bit of an anomaly, but we're going to throw some oil in 1 and 3 and see if they come up. Yeah, 170. Of course, that is Rotella, which is a little heavy. $170. That makes me want to check the rest of them and see how much they come up.
gonna get sunburnt out here helping you. I'm gonna get sunburnt.
Okay, watch your eyes.
Out here helping you. Hello, Mr. Butterfly.
$182. And see, I don't know the condition of the oil that's in this thing, how old it is. It seems kind of thin on the dipstick, so you know that could be playing a role in lower compression. Did I go to 4 or did I go to 3?
You went to 3.
$165.
Gotta switch it.
Well, I'm wondering if I should put more in there, but we'll see.
I mean, this is a good sign, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Good.
Well, yes and no. If you get a massive difference in your compression from low to put oil in it, that has a tendency to indicate that the rings are either sticking or wearing out. I suspect if as high as it is in some of these other cylinders, that as long as this thing's been sitting, the rings are sticking. And a lot of times if you run it, heat cycle it a few times, if they're not stuck really bad, they'll
Yeah.
free up. $160.
I think we're gonna get a spot thunder shower.
Good.
Or well,
June's
maybe
June's normal, although it
month,
normally doesn't happen unless I got hay on the ground.
Well, we probably should have hay on the ground. Josh has already done his, and
Well,
It's
Ronnie
bailed
did
and-
Josh's.
well, he knows we want ours done, doesn't he?
Yep.
You you're at the mercy of
Yeah.
who's got the equipment and has the time. The butterfly thinks it's interesting. You got wings on your wings.
Yeah. 166. All right. So these two came up a lot. This one, a little bit. These 11, 16, 11. So could be rings, but we're within the band of excellence. Yeah, 140 is what the service manual says we should be at. And with the exception of 1 and 3, we're above that. So if this thing was sitting, because the air cleaner wasn't on it, with the exhaust valves or the intake valves open on 1 and 3 while it's been sitting, you'd have a little bit of rust, you know. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and put new plugs in this thing. These are the plugs I'm putting in. They're gonna be a little hotter than the plugs that were in there. I'm gonna check the gap. The service manual recommends between 032 and 035. I'm gonna check these at 34. That's a little tight. They're set to 30. That's 34. Look like we may be about to get rained on. That one's 34, so it must not have been dropped on the way here. That one's 34. 34 and crooked. And 34. And that one's 34. Three, two, one, four, coil, 5, and 6. Let's see if it looks like cylinder number 2's firing now. I'd say that looks like cylinder number 2's firing now, so that plug was bad. Smells like it's running a little rich. And I don't know if there's any way to adjust it. Those screws I was messing with on the bottom of the carburetor are the idle mixture screws. Alright folks, I think that's going to wrap this video up for today. Thank you for watching, and y'all have a good day.